Next, the dowels. This is Shelly, my sister. We have installed the dowels because some numbnuts didn't videotape us actually putting in the dowels. We talked about how we were going to do them on a previous video, so that's how we notched it in, and that worked perfectly. When we just heard some major branches falling, but there's deer all in this area, so we were hoping it was deer, but it was not. So the dowels and our system of using that hole of not to beat down the dowels, that worked perfectly, didn't it?
It worked great.
So
we kept the dowels in good shape.
So here are the dowels. This is exactly what we used. Something very much like this. We took a cedar branch and we just shaved it off. And if you can look here, that's not straight at all. And it went in perfectly. So I was kind of concerned. Yeah, this one's a little bit bigger than the other ones, but they went in perfectly, and I was concerned that this being bent and all that, we're going to have to like go wet it in the water and just straighten it out. So it was great. In fact, it was so good. And all we did is we took the bit. Here, we're going to hand it back and forth. So we took that bit of the screwdriver and we just kind of compared it and said, okay, that's roughly the same size. The bit was actually bigger than these dowels, and we were very concerned that the hole was going to be too big. We even brought down wood filler because I expected when these dowels went in the boards that we're going to have a lot of play in there, and we're going to have to fill them up just so water doesn't leak. That didn't happen. In fact, using these cedar things worked better than real dowels that I have used to build other things in my barn. And I love using dowels instead of nails and wood, nails and screws and stuff, because it just seems so much stronger. So if you look right here, this is a dowel. Oh, you're getting a nice close-up.
Yeah, there's a dowel.
So we just drilled through this, got through this one, made sure we went like an inch into the support, and then we moved this out of the way because as we kept pulling up the sawdust, it started smoking, and we were going to start a fire pretty soon. It started smoking, and so we just moved the other one, and then we were able to dig through this support, the sleeper, much better. What we discovered, kind of an accident, is we went all the way to the end of, I think it was that one up there. We went all the way to the end, and when we were banging in our dowels, it went down into the dirt. So it was about this long. So our dowels up here and up there, can you see how long that is? So it went through the support, through the sleeper, and then all the way down into the dirt. This thing is not moving. And then if you look at the dowels right here, we brought wood filler because we were expected there to be a gap. There's no gap whatsoever. That fit perfectly. We just made sure that our drill bit was just barely bigger than our dowel. And because it was barely bigger, I don't know why it fit so perfectly. Well, I do know why, because we kind of measured it against the skinny side. And if you look at this, it's kind of hard to tell which is the fat side and which is the skinny side. But if you look really carefully, this side is slightly skinnier than this side. So we put the skinnier side down, and then as it went down the hole, it slowly got bigger and tighter and tighter and tighter. And at the end, we pounded that in. And if you can look even at this guy, and as you can see, that dowel is bigger than the one that we were just showing. That went in perfectly. It went in through here, went in through the sleeper, and it's in the ground. When we first started doing this, Shelly works at Lowe's. I held up the dowels. I'm like, should we buy a real dowel or should we just make them? And then we reasoned that cedar is going to last a lot longer than dowels you buy in the store. And so we decided to use cedar even though it's all bendy and everything. And up there, those dowels went in just as flat, just as solid, and just as clean as these. So I was really happy
Me too.
that these dowels worked out. I was so happy that they worked out as good as they did.
We were both amazed and like, what just happened?
Yes. And now I have no fear that this will last and be as strong as anything we're going to hold. So cedar log bridge is going to outlast us. Easy.
Mm-hmm.
Unless we figure out what I've been looking for all my life and I figure out how to live till like I'm 160 or something. That's next project. Okay, dowels. Next step, we're going to fill in the gaps.